Have you came across this error before where you get a problem with detector with your TrueDepth camera? Face ID is disabled. This is a dot projector issue on an iPhone XS Max. In today's video, we're going to walk through the full process on how to fix the dot projector on an iPhone. So hi, I'm Jesse from BCC Board Repairs. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the channel. If you like these type of videos where I show you how to fix the dot projector and Face ID, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and share this video with all your friends. Also down below, I will link to all the tools I use in today's video, as well as everything you need for today's repair. Also, I will link to my t-shirts as well, so if you want to support the channel, if you like what we do here, pick up one of these t-shirts and wear it at your shop. So let's go ahead and get started with this repair. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you guys is the message. So when you go to the Face ID setup screen, you'll see this message about the TrueDepth camera. On older iOS versions, you'll actually be able to set up Face ID, but it'll just forever say move up, move down, or move higher, lower. It'll never like catch your face. Also, if you go to General About, there's going to be a message here saying Face ID issue, and it says something about Face ID not working. So these are all signs that your dot projector is not working. Also, if you go to the portrait camera in selfie mode, it'll never detect your face. So you'll put it on the portrait mode, and then you put it on your face, it'll just say move farther away, or like right now it's saying move farther away, but it's never picking up my face. So these are all signs that your dot projector is bad. So now let's go over the tools. I'll have all these linked down below in the video description. You can get most of this at Wholesale Gadget Parts. If you use my promo code BCCBR, you do get 5% off your first order with them. So this is the JC, it is the JC V1S. This is a little handheld programmer. It has the little, this is a separate board you have to buy for this device. It is the V1S iPhone 10 to 13 Pro Max. So it has all the connectors for all those models for the dot projector. This thing is also battery powered, so you put an iPhone 6 battery and you can use it without having to have it plugged in. And then, as you can see here, it's on the dot projector screen. So these are two separate pieces you have to get. Then this is the actual replacement dot projector cable. I also got it from Wholesale Gadget Parts. This is a little jig. Lets you, I mostly use it for this part where you can squeeze in the sensor here while you're working on it. It'll hold it real nice. It also has alignment here, and if you want to reball any of the other sensors or the other sensors, is there as well, but I don't really use this. I mostly just use this. The alignment, there's an option here for the alignment, but I'm actually going to try this one today. It is the Kian Lee little alignment jig as well for the XS Max. This is the box for it, also at Wholesale Gadget Parts. And lastly is I'm going to use the matte UV glue. This is how you glue the sensor back onto the lens, the little glass crystal part. So you'll need that as well. There is other glues available, you know, the ones that are like regular glue where you just have to wait for it to dry out and cure. This one is nice because it uses UV light. So you decide when it cures by just shining the UV light to it. So this is pretty much everything you'll need. And for the actual repair, let's actually get started with that. So one of the things is you have to take out the sensor from the housing. And the thing about that is you have to be real careful not to rip any flexes. So the dot projector is this one right here. This little glass lens. Let's see if it focuses. There it goes. So this is the dot projector. This is the front facing camera, which is not paired for Face ID. So if you can get this out of the bracket, you can replace it with no problems. You might have to flash an update. And then this is the IR camera. This one is paired for Face ID, so don't rip this cable either. So these are basically the top three cables here on the left. And then if you have an OEM battery, this is going to be adhered down real good. So you should drop some alcohol here, but this is a replacement battery, so it comes off real easy. And then this will be all also glued down as well. So you'll definitely need drip some alcohol in here into the housing so you can peel it off. So keep that in mind. This is glued down pretty good, so you can't just slide it out from under. You gotta lift up the battery and get it out that way. So here's the assembly, here's the back. And then let's do the actual programming part now. So when you have this module plugged in, it should show up on this screen once you turn it on. And then what we're gonna do is test the dot projector. So one thing you wanna look for is here, the 10S Max. You see how it's kind of coming from the top. So you gotta do the same with this and plug it in onto the appropriate plug. Make sure you're plugging into the right plug. I've accidentally plugged into the wrong plug and wondered why it's not reading. All right, so I plugged it in. You can see it detected 10S Max, 10R. And then what you do is here on the bottom, you'll see there's a test button here in the middle. So you click that. And then it says here, abnormal, 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 abnormal. It says NTC normal, chip, DE chip, IIC normal. So I don't know what any of that means, but we have abnormal readings here. So there's definitely a problem. So what we gotta do is we gotta read the original and we're gonna write it to the new flex. So you see here there's an option here for read under this button or above this button. Oh, actually it says right here, fuses, please replace the IC. So I don't know what that means, but the solution is really to do what we're gonna do here in this video, which is we read the original, read the end, something 001 bin saved. So you pop this one out, you get your new replacement flex. So this is before you even do anything to the flex. This is a JC cable. Make sure you get an authentic one. I would recommend Wholesale Gadget Parts because they carry the original ones. So plug it in like this. So you have this plugged in. It is detected by the machine. And then what we want to do is burn. So essentially we read the original and then we're going to burn that data onto here. So you click burn. Burning will overwrite the original data. Do you want to confirm? Click ensure here on the left. And it's going through the process. Burn end. And also it tells you it has to be on iOS 13 or newer. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's pretty rare for phones to have old iOS versions, but if you're doing a dot projector repair, update the device. So now let's actually get the sensor out. So like I mentioned, the little glass thing is the dot projector. There's actually a sensor behind it. That's just the lens basically. So what we can do is peel off this little foam, put it off to the side. This is the back of the sensor. Then here's a sticker here that we can remove. Now there's many different ways to do this, but I like to just break the bracket off. You can see this is the actual sensor, not hub, but basically where the sensor is located inside of this part. And then it's fused or glued to the lens and out to the front. But you can get inside by snipping off this end. Easiest way I found is actually with some wire snips. So just grab it here at the end. And you just gotta be real careful not to damage anything. All right, hold on, let me get a good grip. So break it. All right, I use two hands to snip that off. And then with some tweezers, let's see if we get, there it goes. So you could use the same method to get the front camera out. So once you break open this bracket, you can get the camera out by folding the flexes over and stuff. So bend this out like that. And essentially what we got to do now is, this is the not scary part, but tricky part. So we got to cut through this glue here in here. So there's a square or rectangle, and then there's like a thin kind of glue thing here. We gotta, essentially it's really hard glue, so to, in a way. So the trick is really just to push down with your blade while applying heat, and then it'll just kind of slice through it and break off as one piece. So the way to do it is, let me see. Well, you don't have to use heat, but I believe you could just slice down without it. But also probably a good idea to get a new blade, so it's extra sharp. I think this one's kind of new. You also got to be careful not to damage anything else. All right, so I'm gonna kind of hold it like this, and then using my hot air, I'm gonna set it to something really low, like let's do 215, and just hit it, the hot air from the back. Oops. All right, let's try this again. Oh, look at that. Didn't even have to use heat. It just kind of broke off there. So here's the part. Also the interesting part that before I used to see these little prongs here on the front, thinking they had something to do with it, but they're just like brackets. So didn't move these out of the way. But this is the lens for the dot projector, which we don't need, so we can put this out to the side. And here's the actual dot projector sensor, or whatever you call it. So first thing we want to do is take basically the flex out of these rectangle part. So the rectangle part's in here, and use any kind of jig or board holder. So the flex itself, we're gonna get rid of. So you can be a little rough with it since it's gonna be replaced. So I'm using this board holder, the Mijing board holder, and then we're essentially gonna squish it in this jig, not this jig, this board holder. All right, so what we're gonna do is cut off the glue from the edges of the sensor. Like I said, the flex itself is fine if you damage it, because we're going to replace it. I don't know if there's any on this side. Best you can. And essentially we need to get this thing off the flex. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go up to 365. Actually, let me go a little lower. Let me do 330. And essentially I'm kind of heating more of the flex than anything else. You can see it's kind of moving. Remember, it's glued down as well. There it goes. Now it's off. And you see the old flex there. So I can remove the old flex. And then I need we can now use this jig here. All right, so next step is we're going to break off this chip, take it off. Let me lower my temp to, let's do 240. You gotta be real careful. So first clean off this underfill. Just on the edges. Careful with the gold prongs or pins here on the right. Now let me scoot this down the center a little bit. And then all right, and now we gotta get the chip off. So let me go up to 365. And essentially we want to pry off the chip. This is probably the riskiest part as well. You potentially use your iron also to get it off. Just moving. Let me put a weight on here. Maybe I need to turn up my temperature. There it goes. So I got the chip off. Now you see there's basically 3 solder joints. So we need to just short from here to here. Run a jumper basically. And to do that, you'll of course need a little bit of flux. Tin both, so you have some solder on there. Oops. Okay, should be fine. Let me run the jumper first. I'm getting a little piece of jumper I have here in my bottom of my bench. Oops, let's get it. Alright, hold on, it's a little tricky. So do a quick little tap with your iron. My hands aren't steady right now. Alright, so that one's on there. Well, one side. And then here's the other side. There you go. And cut off the excess. And save this jumper for next repair. Alright, so I have some flux or rosin on the sensor. I'm gonna drop some alcohol and blow it away without touching it. Next is we gotta prep the pads on here. So this is how the sensor was attached to the flex. So if you add some flux, you just want to basically, well, let me see. I don't see any underfill. Sometimes there's underfill in here. You do want to clean that off. I think there is some. Let me hit it with some hot air and try to clean it off. I'm gonna do 190. Be real careful with your heats. Now, there's some here on the edges. I'm just using my tweezers. It's funny because a few days ago I had someone get mad that I was using my tweezers for cleaning underfill in my comments. You know, if it does the job, why does it matter if they're tweezers or not? Okay. I think this should be good. All right, now let's tin all the pads. Let's clean this up. Actually, there's a sticker back here. All right. So the sensor is ready. Now we can technically reball all this, but so this is a new flex. It looks like it's already pre-tinned. Let's see. So that jig I have, oh, wrong way. I suppose I could reball this. Let's try it. I'll be honest, I haven't done that many of these repairs for some reason. Nobody wants to get this repaired. But if you need this repaired, just let me know. Send me a message through my website. I'll link it down below. As with any repair, just contact me and I'll give you a quote. Alright, let's put my reballing temperature 330 and 35 air. So it looks like it's not spreading, but that's fine. So I do have excess solder here, so I'm just gonna shave that off so it has an even surface for the sensor to install into. Alright, put some flux. Now we gotta install the sensor on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a coin to hold the flex so it doesn't fly away. And then the sensor is over here. So if you match the design, it's like this. Something like that. And then I'm going to use the same 330. Maybe. Yeah, I use the same 330 Celsius and heat it from far away and let the sensor go into place. Kind of like installing an IC. You can see how it's kind of moving into position. And once it's installed, you should be able to bump it. There it goes. See how it snaps into place. Now we wait. Let me take out the coin. So yeah, if you guys are watching this and you're finding this helpful, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out. It helps out the YouTube algorithm, lets people know this is a good video to watch, so it shows up on more people's feeds. Okay, so I'm gonna clean off some of the flux. Let me clean off some of this as well. All right, looks pretty clean to me. Okay, so basically we have the programmed flex with the original sensor with the bypassed, I think that was a transistor or something, right? So we ran a jumper, we installed this on the new flex. So now let's go to the programmer and plug this in. All right, so I detected it. And then we're gonna push test in the center. Normal. And if you look at the sensor, on focus, you guys see that light? I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm pushing the test button. So there you go. Let me show you guys here under the microscope. I'm gonna push the test button in 3, 2, 1. There you go. So the sensor is now working. Before it was not doing that. Now one thing you can technically do, which is kind of a pain, is you can actually plug in the sensor and test it. Essentially like this, where you have the sensor just like that, and then okay, so this is one of the hardest parts as well. I don't know if I said that already a few times, but this is the alignment jig. Essentially, let's see, which way does it go? I guess this way. The idea is you place the sensor in here. And then we gotta place this back in there. Essentially glue it back into position before we broke it off. So this is the tricky part, because you gotta align it perfectly, otherwise the Face ID won't work as well. Let's see. So this was a little bit lower. So basically, oops. So we got to line this frame, I guess, to this lens thing. So one is bend these brackets out, and then I guess placed in here. Also, because of the way it was cut, it's kind of like a unique cut, so it allows you to kind of place it into position. Let's see. Let's see, how does this thing work? Oh, look at that. Those little squares are supposed to line up with the back of the flex. Although because the bracket is not working. You know what? Let's break this off. All right, so according to this little square should match with the back of the sensor, which it does look like it's aligned. All right, let's go with it. All right, so now I'm gonna get the UV glue. Essentially, let's see if I get some. Oh, here it comes. So here's some UV glue. I'm going to use my tweezers as the applicator. That's a lot of glue. Let me grab my other tweezers to kind of offset some of this glue. Okay. A little better. So I'm going to apply it in here. And then on the top side as well. Alright, I'm out of glue. So let me grab some from this tweezer. That's a lot of glue right there, but that's fine. Now if it's misaligned, then it's going to be crooked. Alright, so now I'm going to use my UV light to cure it. This is my little laser pen UV light. I'm not looking at it with my bare eyes because it's bad for your sight. Okay. And then this side. So give it a good 5-10 seconds of UV light. The more the better, I would say. All right, so now, yeah, that stuff is cured. So let me clean my tweezers from that UV glue. Now I gotta get this out of this jig. All right, so I would say this jig is really good. It did help me align it. So that's this side. So there you have it. The sensor now back installed. Now I don't have to technically put that bracket back on. It should work without it. I actually never figured out how to put it back, but I just leave it off. Next is put this back into the housing. I think a piece of my glove got stuck in there. All right, plug this all in. And all right, everything's plugged in. Let's turn this on and see if it works. All right, no Face ID message or error. Face ID, set up Face ID. Get started. And there you go. It detected my face. Face ID is now set up. Continue. It's good to go. Face ID detected. Face ID is now set up. Done. I just put a password. Use anyway. All right, so Face ID is set up. So let's see if it works. Locked, unlocked, ready to go. See, locked, swipe up, look at it, unlocks. So there you go, Face ID is fixed. As you saw, the process is pretty simple. It's fully working. I can now just seal this up and ready to go back to the customer. I really like this jig, by the way. This I didn't realize that the little thing here will help you align the back of the flex, so that's pretty cool. Definitely recommend that. So that was successful. Successful repair. All right guys, so there you have it, another successful repair. Face ID is now working, dot projector fixed. So really appreciate you if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Make sure you guys let me know down below what you found useful in this repair, in this tutorial. I will link to everything you saw today down below. Also, if you need this repair, let me know. I will link my website as well. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll have a new video up soon. Let me know also below if there's any other repairs you want me to cover. So appreciate every single one of you. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. And share this video with all your friends in the Facebook groups, anyone who does repairs who might find this helpful. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.